Yeah, this is Adarabba from Yossi Green. Beautiful song. Wow, very very emotional song. First, I believe Avram Fried sings it a bunch of years ago, and then now you hear the kids choir along with Yossi Green in the background, and that's from, I think, from Yiddish Nachas, if I'm not mistaken. And I want to tell you a little bit of what the song was about. Adarabba, the opposite. Please, Tein v'libenu, put in our hearts, Shanir kolechad malas chavereinu v'loich, please, put it in our hearts that we should see only the good in our friends, and not what they're missing. In other words, not the negative things about them. And everybody should talk one another in a straight way, which means not to bicker, just to be nice to each other, and you know, and what's okay for you. That means not lashon hara, only good things. And a person shouldn't hate his friend. And strengthen the kesher between me and between us and Hashem, us and you, because it's known to you, God of Yudua, it's known to you that everything is we want to do for your nachas, and that's our ikar kavanah, that's our ikar thing that we want to do. And he goes on, and we should daven with kavanah, and that's basically the song about. Mainly that the main part of the song is that we should see the good in our friend and chas v'shalom not the bad in our friend, as he writes, the miles, the good characteristics of your friend and not the damaging parts. Anyway, that's the story. That's the thing of Melech from Lezhensk. We all know that Melech from Lezhensk fasted for 21 years. Wow, he fasted for 21 years. What did that mean? Fasted? It means that from Shabbos to Shabbos he fasted. It means only on Shabbos he ate. He was weak as a fly, and in that time he made sigufim, rolled in snow and sat between bugs and all kind of terrible things that he did to be mitzar, to destroy his guf, so he should stay only within the neshama and just about enough to be alive. Mom is just about, because you're not allowed to kill yourself, chas shalom. And in that time, with Mesiras Nefesh, he would learn Torah and daven, and that was a moedig avodah in those days. Avodah Hashem that we don't know anything about nowadays, and we are not allowed to use that kind of avodah Hashem because it's not on our level. For us, it would be literally a big avera to to do these kind of things. But Melech from Lezhensk, he was allowed to do it for 21 years. He fasted. This is how he ran his life for 21 years. For the first 7 years, he fasted and he did all this to be mesaken his own guf, his own neshama. Then, for the next 7 years, he worked to be mesaken mashlim, the entire generation. And then, another 7 years, all the generations till Mashiach comes. That's what Big Tzaddikim said. Wow. Once the Abtu Rav, the Oiv Yisrael, the Abtu Rav, Big Tzaddik, he was much younger than the Melech from Lezhensk, but he was one of the big Talmidim, and he was a big tzaddik, of course. And he came to the Melech from Lezhensk on Yom Kippur. So he said to him, "Why didn't you come to me on Rosh Hashanah?" So he was like taken aback, like, "Why did the Rebbe want me to come?" He said, "I'll tell you what happened. There was a big gezeira in Shemayim. On Rosh Hashanah, there was a big gezeira in Shemayim. Supposed to be a big gezeira on Klal Yisrael in that year." And he said on himself that he davened and did a lot of shtadlis that that they should destroy, that Hashem should destroy the Gezerah, and Hashem destroyed the Gezerah. And it's a well-known thing that when the Gezerah on Klal Yisrael and then it is destroyed, Shaarei Rachmim open up. Shaarei Rachmim, the gates of mercy, the gates of Rachmim open up. And it's a good time to daven then. So he davened very hard, very, very, very hard. And they asked him from Shemayim, and Melech, what do you want? So right away he said, I want to see the Beis HaMikdash. In Shemayim, there's the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi that's going to come. Dvarim Yeduim, not something that I have to tell you, all the Yiddish can know. But it says, you burnt the Beis HaMikdash in fire, and you're going to build it with fire. And the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi will come down straight from Shemayim in fire. So Melech from Lezhensk wanted to see the Beis HaMikdash, and he was zeicher to see the Beis HaMikdash. So he said, I want to see the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So they gave him the permission, and he was zeicher to see the Kodesh HaKadoshim. She said, I want to see the Aron HaKodesh. So the Aron, the great Aron, so they gave him permission to see the Aron. Then he said, I want to see the Luchos. That's where it stopped. He said, no, you can't see the Luchos. And the Melech from Lezhensk told the Abtuav, if you would be here, in your Zechus and in my Zechus, we would be able to open up the Aron and see the Luchos. And if we could see the Luchos, we would bring Mashiach. So he said, where were you on Rosh Hashanah when I needed you? I don't understand exactly what that means, but this is the story. Melech from Lezhensk once sitting in his office, in his office. I mean, he had a little room with a wooden chair or something, sitting before davening, thinking about davening. What else? Thinking about how he's going to daven and all this. Suddenly, a lady comes running in, and he said, they took my son, And I'll tell you what it means. In those days, everybody knows the story of the Cantonists. Everybody knows Yitzi Earp's story is all about the Cantonists. Famous stories. Anyway, he was they would take kids 8 years old till like 15. They would take them, grab them away from their mother's home, from their homes, take them to a place called Minsk, in Russia, and they would teach them to be soldiers. And then for 25 years they had to be soldiers in the Tsar's army with a terrible, terrible decree. Guess what? Almost all the Jewish kids, went off. They had no idea about Jewishness, and they just had no shaykhs. By the time they came back, when they were 35, there was nothing left of them, and they tried to start a life, but they didn't know anything. The big Amuratim were the big problem, a tremendous gezerah, and the tzaddikim fought against it till finally, in the time of the Abtu Rav, I believe they were able to be mevatel the gezerah. Anyway, at that time was still going on, and the lady comes running and says, Rebbe, they took my son. So a Melech from Lezhensk said, I have a coffee on my table. I'm not going to drink the coffee on my table till this woman's son comes into my house. So half hour later, the boy walks in. Hashem, it became a big simcha, tremendous. Well, he looks at the boy and he says to the boy, I'm going to say it in Yiddish and I'll explain to him. Wegen deiner Schunes is mein Kaffee geworden kalt. Because of your stubbornness, my coffee is cold. So he was like, wow. So his Talmidim said, Rabbi, what do you mean with those words? He said, Soll der Bucher sagen. Let this Bucher say, let this kid say what happened. He had no choice. He was a very humble boy. He didn't want to say what happened. But the Melech from Lezhensk wanted to show everybody what it means to have Messias Nefesh for another boy. So he said this. The Bacher said this. He was sitting on the wagon on the way to Minsk, and suddenly he sees someone coming onto the wagon. He was a Malach from Shemaim. He said, Rav Melech from Lezhensk told me that I should go take you off the wagon. So he said to him, okay, good, I'll go off the wagon, but look, there's another boy here. This boy is a Yasim, he's an orphan, nobody really cares about him, unfortunately. In those days, especially, even nowadays, orphans have a very, very hard time. It's really, really a tremendous mitzvah to help. Just going off in a tangent again, but it's a tremendous mitzvah to help orphans and to help kinderlich who their parents are divorced, and kinderlich who don't have parents or who have single parents. They have a very, very hard time with social life and learning and other things. If you're able to help them, it's a huge, huge mitzvah. But let's go back. She said, here's another boy. He's an orphan, so no one really is taking care of him. And he's been taken also. I'm not going to go off this wagon until you take him also. She said, so you're going to be a soldier? He said, okay, what should I do? I don't want to be a soldier. I want to go back into the Beis HaMedrash and learn the Heilige Torah, but what should I do? What can I do? So he said to him, I don't have the permission. What should I do? I don't have the permission. I don't have the permission. So he said to him, okay, you don't have the permission, no problem. But I'm not going to go off the wagon unless you find unless you got permission for this boy. A few minutes later, the Malach comes back and he says, okay, I got permission. So he takes off both Bachim off the wagon and Shoin. And he brings them to a Melech from Lezhensk. So the Melech saw all this Baruch HaKodesh. And he said, because of your stubbornness, he was so stubborn. To the Malach, it was a mitzvah that he was stubborn. The Melech didn't say it in a bad way, the opposite. He had Messias Nefesh for the other boy. That's why he was Zoiche, to save another boy. Amazing, 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 amazing. Yeah, amazing. I'm sure I said this story. You're not Zoiche to a son like a Melech for nothing. You have to be a tzaddik yourself. You have to be tzaddik yourself. And his mother, a lot of versions of the story, but this is how I heard it from my Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Chaim Greenwald, big tzaddik. He said, I heard it from this is how he said the story. His mother was a little girl. And she worked in the tavern, in the pub, in the kretschmer of her father. Her father had a tavern, and all goyim and shikoyim used to come and shikadich. Listen to official Shechtau. He talks about it, how the goyim shikadich and how. Anyway, and she was a very pretty girl, and they all shepherded her. They all said, "Oh, I want to marry you, And she, of course, didn't want to even come close to these goyim, these shikoyim. So she would wear like a shmata over her face, so they shouldn't see her. And it's tremendous pain for a girl to walk around like this, and tsar and busha, embarrassment. But she didn't care, all for the mitzvah. And one day she dreamt that she's going to be zoiche to Shiva Knei HaManoah. I said this story more than once in this show. Zoiche to Shiva Knei HaManoah, which means 7 branches of the menorah. She was zoiche to the following: Reb Zusha, Manipali, Reb Melech, Reb Nosson, and Reb Avram, and 3 sisters, all tzaddikim and tzidkonios. And his father, Reb Leith the Lipman, well, he was also a tzaddik. What happened with him? One day he walked in the street and he saw that there was a wagon. They were dragging a family of Jewish people to jail. He said to the parrots who were schlepping the wagon, what's going on here? So, well, these people owe me a lot of money, and if they don't pay up, I'm going to put them in jail. And then maybe someone is going to, give me ransom. So he said, how much do you want for this family? So he said a tremendous amount of money. I don't know, like, let's say 1,000 ruble. I don't know anything about ruble. I'm just giving a mush. So he looked in his pocket and said, I don't have 1,000 ruble, but look, this family is going to give you nothing. They have nothing. But I can put together some money. He ran and got together a few hundred ruble and he gave it to the poets. That means he gave him all his money and the poets let go of his family. And when he let go of the family was so appreciative and they were able to continue living and not being destroyed, killed by the Russia pirate. So the man came to him, the father of the family, said to him, what can I pay you back? Come on, you gave me such a big thing, you saved my family. I need to pay you back. But he didn't want to take anything. So he said, you know what, I'm giving you my whole Gan Eden. He took a piece of paper and he wrote, me, let's call him Yonason Gimpelovich, I'm giving you all my Gan Eden to you, to Eliezer Lippmann, Weisblum. So he gave it to him. And he said, okay, he put them in his pocket and forgot about it. A few months later, this man was nifter, and he was nifter, and he came to Rabbi Eliezer Lippmann in the middle of the street. He saw him, somebody said, oh, you're the man who I saved, how are you, how's your family? He said, not so fast, I'm not alive anymore. Came down from Shemayim. You have no idea, I have so much pain because I have no Gan Eden. I'm waiting to be let into Gan Eden, but I gave you all my Gan Eden. He said, oh, you mean the paper? Oh, I never wanted to use it. Took the paper and ripped it up into shreds. Rabbi Lippmann said, oh, you're such a tzaddik, thank you so much. And he vanished. And of course, Rabbi Lippmann was zoiche to all these big tzaddikim at Kinderlich. And now, of course, as we finish every week with this beautiful, beautiful, warm song from the Heilige Rebbe Kalina, my grandfather, starts with the word Ka Echsef Noyam Shabbos. Boys and girls, sing along with this song, and then we'll come back for the last minute or two to tell you goodbye and good Shabbos. Hear the song.
Amen.
Unbelievable song. You know, the Chavetz Chaim had the Noam Elimelech on his table, even though he didn't belong to the Hasidic movement. He was a tzaddik on his own, Chavetz Chaim, who is greater than him. But he didn't belong to the Hasidic movement, and yet he had the Noam Elimelech on his table. And the Belzer Rav, Baron Belzer, once explained, people were wondering, wow, he had a Chavetz Chaim on the table. He said that he is Mamen B'Emunah Shalema, that when a person has a hero tshuva, it's because of the schus of Reb Melech from Lezhensk.
I want to tell you something. I have Noam Elimelech almost on the table, you know this. And first of all, the little zettel, you know, the
zettel cotton, yeah.
It's amazingly, and it doesn't. You know, what's Hasidic?
Nothing to do with it, yeah.
It's divrei. Oh, I'm sorry, just a word. It's divrei Torah. It's really something. It's amazing. On this parashat Shavua, it's you can read take Noam Elimelech. It's amazing. You learn, you know. It's a small chapters, but full of information. Beautiful. Amazing.
So anyway, the Rabban Beld explained that when people have a Huriyat Tshuva, it's because of the Noam Elimelech, but the Heilige Tzaddik Elimelech. When the Melech from Lezhensk came out of the mikveh Erev Shabbos, the entire town would walk by him, and he would raise his hands above, and the people would walk by under his hands, and he would bench everybody. And we asked the Rebbeinu Shalom, Rebbe Melech from Lezhensk, just like you benched, in those days, please bench us now, that Hashem should listen to our tefillos, and all the tefillos from the Kinderlich, all over the world, Yiddish Kinderlich, Hashem should listen to the tefillos and help them, give them siyat shema and everything, and all the fathers and mothers, all the people who need Yeshuas and Refuas and everything, Parnasa and Shidduchim and children, everything. It should be in the schus of Melech from Lezhensk, while the Eibishter helfen should give you kol tov.
Amen.
And that's a show for tonight, boys and girls. This is Yosef Leiber's team. We'll see you next week. Official Shechter follows me, and then Leil Shish with Yoli. Don't go away.
Anywhere, anytime, for everyone. This is jrootradio.com.
Pizza Nosh, the pizza that everyone knows. For over 15 years, Pizza Nosh has been serving the Jewish community with the best kosher pizza in Brooklyn. Delicious and fresh pizza daily. A large variety of food, salad, soup, falafel, knishes, and more. Reasonably priced, kid-friendly, wheelchair accessible, takeout and delivery. Lunch and dinner specials under strict rabbinical supervision. Pizza Nosh, the taste that everyone loves. 718-253-3200.
This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
As of now, everything till now, I hope you were still davening Mariv or finishing up supper. Okay. So we had quite some weather today. Actually, a couple of years ago, my podiatrist suggested to buy a certain shoe that has little holes inside, so that your feet get air. I said, I feel very funny walking around with shoes with little holes inside. He said, trust me, nobody will see it and you won't know it, but your feet will know it. And it's true, I forgot about it till today. Today I realized my shoes have holes in them, yes. So this person tells me that he told me this conversation between his 6-year-old daughter and his 5-year-old daughter. Actually, this fight that went on between his 6-year-old daughter and his 5-year-old daughter. Every kid in the world wants a day off from school, right? We all know that. Every child in the world wants a day off from school. And everyone hopes for snow. And not to mention rebellion and teachers. But everyone hopes for snow. I remember one of my snow days, I decided to brave it. I came to yeshiva and I had like 3 kids there. The other story, that Yerushalayim, the guy comes into yeshiva, he goes, told you there's no yeshiva today, why'd you come? He says, listen, in my class I have 10 kids, at home I have 20 kids. He says, I'm coming here. So I came, there were like 3 kids there, and then the principal came into a 6 rebbeim, they didn't show up, so they poured like 70 kids into my class. So much of my snow day. So he told me there was this ongoing dispute between his 6-year-old and his 5-year-old. His 5-year-old girl had a play that day. She did not want school to be canceled because they are practicing for this play for who knows how long. They're practicing for this play, they're practicing for this play, they're practicing for this play for who knows how long. Again and again and again and again. And what?